Nigerians continue to
Tonight, the city of Lagos waits
There is still a poor level of
Be the first to know. From the north, south, east, west and around Africa, we break the news.
one Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are KOLAWOLE TV News,
welcome to KOLAWOLE
a
TV
24-hour news station.
Welcome again to Core Digest, and it's interesting to have you there. But please don't forget, call us. We would like to hear from you, be a part of the program, and of course, even on our social media slot. Yes, this second part of this program, we will be looking and considering again Governor FEMI's footprint, the Ekiti 2014 election. It's a landmark election that somebody will work very hard to want to remove from the annals of the good things that can happen to our nation. In the political space of Nigeria, even the oppositions are commending what took place on Saturday. Well, our guest this morning is an award-winning journalist, a multi-award-winning journalist, I must emphasize, FEMI KOLAWOLE, taking a look at Ekiti. Of course, there's political space in our nation. FEMI, you're welcome to our studios.
Thank you very much. I'm honored to be here.
Indeed.
It's so good to have you join us.
Thank you.
The first question I want to ask you is the military presence what it takes for Nigerians to vote credibly?
That's an interesting question. Frankly, I do not think so. But when you look at the situation in our country, this security situation, it was a key factor that prompted the federal authorities to, have the military and the police posted to Ekiti to ensure peaceful conduct of the elections, as well as the players, the politicians, their supporters, so that everything goes orderly. There is no issue of, people fighting, people snatching ballot boxes, or any form of violence whatsoever. To your question, frankly, I do not think so, that until and unless we have the military posted, we won't have, peaceful conduct, free and fair elections. However, the situation now, I think, prompted that. And there are people who have lambasted the federal government for militarizing the conduct of the elections. But I personally have no issues about it, because the elections have come and gone, and we've also seen that people accepted the conduct as very free and fair. There was hardly any form of, violence before, during the conduct of the election that Saturday or even after it. So, frankly speaking, at this time, I think for us having the military go there should not really be condemned.
Would you say the Ekiti people were perturbed by the presence, even of this military machinery?
Like some people said, it was free, not fair.
Some people said it was free, not fair. I am a journalist. And as a journalist, you should be able to watch trends. You should be able to feel the pulse of the people. What are the people saying? And if we want to carry the debate anywhere, Lagos, Abuja, anywhere in the world, Akure, Ekiti, anywhere, I think that election represented the outcome of it. The electoral victory of Fayose represented the wishes and desires of the Ekiti people. And so I would say it was free as well as fair. Did the military, presence there affect the outcome? We know that people came out to vote were like about over 50% of those who were registered to vote. And don't also forget that it's not all the people registered who even got their cards, the permanent voter cards from INEC. And of all the people who got their cards, not all of them voted. So primarily I would say the conduct of the election to a very good extent, represented the wishes of the people. And since even the incumbent governor, Governor FEMI, also like accepted the outcome and even congratulated Ayo Fayoshi, I would not, politicians for who they are would always say, oh, it wasn't free, it wasn't fair. But as journalists, we would be objective. And I think that election was very free and fair.
Why would you say the people decided that this is what they want, irrespective of the military machinery? They went out there. Was it that there were issues with FEMI, or Fayoshi has been seen now as the bad boy turned good or some such? Why would you say that?
Thank you. Let me go back in history, in time. In 2003, that was about 11 years ago, I used to work in a magazine company. And at that time, Fayoshi was contesting, for the first time for his election. We had reports about him in Lagos, and we felt, who is this, new guy coming up? He seems to be making wave. People in Ekiti seem to be excited about him. And I went with a colleague. We traveled to Ekiti just to, get more background about him. But before we got addresses, we got his place. Before we went to him, we conducted interviews with people on the streets. The students, the elderly people, the civil servants, diverse types of people. And what they were saying was, oh, it's Fayoshi. This current governor, Otumbani Adebayo, we are not behind him any longer. He's going. He's going. And we were asking, what is so spectacular about a Fayoshi? And they said, oh, it takes care of our needs. If there was water problem in Ekiti at that time, I'm not sure that is fully been solved even now. And Fayoshi, I think it was based in Ibadan at the time. It would bring tanker loads of water and distributing all across the states. People loved him for that. And they also felt he was like this common guy who would relate so well with them. So it was, I would also say, we can't say that the former governor, Adebayo, then did not perform. But somehow people wanted a change. And eventually, they were keen behind him. That was before the election. Now, let me make this fast. We went later to Fayoshi himself to interview him. And he was so confident of himself and his chances that he was going to unseat the incumbent governor at the time. So full of himself. I remember one particular statement he made was that let my enemies take time to note that the Ark of Noah is about to move. So if you want to support me, better get on board now, because our Ark will get to a very good destination. We are taking the seat. That was what they said. And later we went to the governor, Adebayo, to say, Mr. Governor, the elections are coming. What are your plans? What do you think would be the outcome? Are you sure of re-election? And he said, oh, certainly, he's coming back. And as journalists, we wanted to give him a frank opinion on what the people were saying. And we told him, Mr. Governor, Your Excellency, it seems that this conviction and confidence you have might not work eventually, because the people are saying they are likely to give their vote to Fayoshi. And the governor, Governor Adebayo, then laughed. They said, oh, young men, elections don't work that way. That someone is distributing water to people doesn't mean he's going to come in. Of course, we all eventually know the outcome of that election. Fayoshi won. There is something about Fayoshi. He has popular appeal. The other people in Ekiti love him. He comes to their level. And the type of person he is, I'm not sure politicians in Ekiti, especially maybe an Adebayo, a FEMI, really have that appeal, that common appeal with ordinary Ekiti people, the artisans, especially the civil servants. Because if the civil servants who work under government are not behind you as governor, you're a gunner.
Now, that brings me to the question of what does it take to be a winner of an election as it relates to personality and party? Because some people have argued that it should be party first, because party should outlive individuals.
Sure.
So what exactly does it take?
A combination of factors, really. A combination of factors. I think Nigeria, our politics, is getting to a level where people may not really look at the party, but the personalities, the candidates.
Let me hold you a moment, sir. There is Shay calling from Lagos. Hello, good morning. Hello, Shay. Yes, we can hear you. Hello. Hello, are you still there?
I guess the network is bad.
Oh dear.
Okay.
Please try us again, Shay. And you have the numbers. The numbers will be on your screen. Please call us and let's talk about the issue on Core Digest. Yes, sir, you were saying.
Thank you. You know, I said it's a combination. Winning election in Nigeria now is a combination of factors. The parties play their roles. The electorate also look at the candidates being fielded and the antecedents, their personality, and what the people believe they will be bringing to the table. For the Ekiti election, there have been this perception that the incumbent governor, the outgoing governor, didn't really come down to the level of the people and intellectual. And it's not that he's performed badly. The impact of Governor FEMI certainly would not be forgotten in that state. He was a gentleman, and just like you also earlier mentioned, for him as the incumbent governor to congratulate barely 24 hours after the election, the winner, shows a lot about the quality of his person and the goodness of his politics. The goodness of his politics. So winning election in Nigeria is a combination of factors. The parties play a role. The personalities also play, determining factors. I think at this stage of our elections, at this stage of our politics in Nigeria, when the people want to vote now, they would look at the faces of the people the parties are presenting before they make their choices. I think we are at that stage. And it will also play a role in the 2050 elections. In August, the Osun elections would hold. Governor Aregbesola would be contesting. Senator Yola Omishore would also be fielded. And people would consider the top players. Do you want this or do you want this? And they make their choices, irrespective of the party where that person is coming from. That's my view.
Another thing is, we've heard people say, especially about Bamidele.
Let me hold you there.
Okay.
Olajide Kazim from Katsina. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning to you. Your comment, please.
Olajide Akin here from Katsina.
Welcome.
Thank you for this kind of program. It's educative and we're actually enjoying it.
Thank you.
Actually, I'm from Osun State. I'm a native of Osun State, but I used to pass through Ekiti. One, let me say a big thank you to the incumbent governor for the kind of charisma.
Sure.
This is to say that our is not a wasted generation. At least with this development, we believe we are moving forward. Well, let me say, Fayose won the election actually because he is a man of the people. He grew up there. He's always with them when he was in power, when he was not there. And if you look at his campaign, he was able to move to the grassroots. I watched one of the programs on NCA. If you see the way the rulers, the Obas, were praying for him, you see that they love him. They know he can deliver. Just like my brother actually said, it is not that Dr. Fayose did not know how to perform. But he grew up in Lagos. Most of those that work with him are from Lagos. People want those that are ambassadors. Those that know their problem. Those that they will directly benefit from. People from us, those that work at least whatever are from there. So it's like what they intend to get are going back to where they don't cash. They prevent that one. They prevent Fayose because Fayose is part of them. They believe majority of those that work with him are their own immediate people. supposed to be a lesson to our politicians. Not from where you stay, but you bring the people of the environment, those that actually work for you, those that know the problem, those that will actually guide you to where you're supposed to be. In fact, this is a kind of a thing that will guide us in the next election in Osun State. Actually, the governor there is performing. And on his own side, people like him, but he too should learn from this kind of that is happening. If you look at his cabinet, majority are from Lagos State. Please, they should learn to include people from their own immediate environment.
Sure.
If not because of the rancor in PDP and what have you, probably what happened here may likely happen there. But he too, because of what people have seen, because of the problem in PDP like Adeleke, AK, other business, they can't into APC. May be a factor that actually, but in a nutshell, thank you for this program. Thank you for commending the incubator, and we hope Fire State will not come to the people. Even if I thought it doesn't have the intention of going for the second time, he should know that he should do everything possible to make people that voted for him know that they actually prefer him because he is one of them. And he should encourage them to have belief in those that live within the environment so that everything will go very well. And it's going to be a kind of motivating factor. So that the money back from America, London will not come, make our resources and go back. So thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you indeed. Thank you, Olajide Akeem, for your call. Thank you indeed. You want to respond to that?
Yeah, valid points raised. You know, the leaders, the incumbent governors should watch it and never take the people for granted. You know, that's a valid, very, very valid point he made. And I also support him in his statement that the incoming governor, Ayodele Fayose, needs to place a very critical premium on the vote, the massive vote the people have given him, and use that to commit himself to delivering value to Ekiti people. I would say it's a second chance for him. God giving him a second chance. If you look at Fayose's political journey, before the elections, even earlier this year, he said he's coming back. And God told him he's going to come back. And he was so sure about some of these things. Yeah, as a people, we believe in God. If we want to doubt that, based on some things we know and see, we may be deceiving ourselves. God exists. We see his works. So he was so very sure of it that, you know, he's a changed person and he's coming back to like correct some things he did wrongly. And eventually it came to pass. So if he was sure that it was his God who spoke to him and his God has been faithful to that word, I would counsel him. I work with Posterity Media. I would counsel him to commit himself to making impact for posterity. Because if he fails in doing that, it would be so terrible for him for the future. But I hope it doesn't get to that.
How relevant is the state of origin in bringing people to power? Because when thoughts gathered in Ekiti during the election, one of the candidates was actually accused of not being homely enough, of being away in some other states, being commissioner. But the question is, there must have been some other people in that state who are not necessarily from the state, but have spent all their lives. And there was a debate some times ago about state of origin. What is your opinion about this whole thing about state of origin? Should you become an indigene of the place and have the right to power if you've spent almost all your life there?
That's a controversial question you've asked, but a very important one. Now, whatever option you want to take, you still consider your environment. The environment that we have at this time, it used to be at a stage in our political history in this country that we had an Igbo man occupying an office in Lagos, the Azikiwe and all. In fact, some places in Enugu, there was an Hausa man who was holding a political office there. So ordinarily, like you pointed out for the Ekiti election, there was a candidate, I think Okpeyemi really. People feel he's in Abuja, he's done this, he's done that. The people want to see that you are part of them. You may come from the state, but if you are not resident there, let's say for instance, I'm from Ijebu in Ogun State. Let's say I've been resident all my life in London, in the UK, or in New York, America. And the elections are coming, I run down to Nigeria, I spend all of the money, I see all of the people. The ordinary folks who are going to vote may feel we don't know you, you've not been a part of us. And so they may just jettison you, no matter the wonderful vision and bringing to transform the state. So it plays a role. It ought not to. I would personally look forward to a day when maybe an Igbo trader who's done all his business in Kaduna could aspire to become governor in Kaduna State, an Igbo man.
The Constitution allows for that. Why not?
Sure, the Constitution allows for that, but our politics now and the type of, relationship we are having amongst ourselves, the North, the South, the West, the East, do you think that allows that? At this stage, it's no. But that ought to be the ideal thing. And I hope one day soon we get there.
Because, you see, the issue, this issue, it's rather controversial because people are... We have a way with the rule of law. We have a way, particularly within our political space. Because the Constitution actually provides, if you have, what makes you a Nigerian? You were born here, one of your parents are, or you've lived in an area. What makes you an indigene of a state or a local government? You've been residents there, you have a home there, you've been working, your taxes are paid in these states. Why can you not contest election? You should be eligible to vote for someone and, in fact, to be voted for. So the controversies is what emanates from our political space.
Sure.
How can we, the people, abrogate such?
Let's illustrate. For instance, in Lagos State, if you want to do a critical study of the backgrounds of the leaders we've had in Lagos, it's not all of them who came from the state. It's not all of them.
Indeed not.
So if we are certain about that, I think the Gaussians might not really be interested in who becomes
where they're coming from.
Perhaps, maybe I should put a caveat, perhaps so long the person is from the Southwest. Because I'm not sure Lagosians at this stage, I'm not sure, it's not certain. I'm not sure Lagosians would vote for an Hausa man to become governor in Lagos, or an Igbo person, or someone outside of the Yoruba stock. But whether you're from Lagos or you're from Ogun, so long you're from the Southwest, Lagosians could still consider you for governor of Lagos State. But in all of the other states, it would be a difficult sell. To get there would take time. We are not there yet. To get there, that you're from Benue State and you've been living in Imo State for maybe 42 years, or you were born there, for you to become governor, it will take time. I'm not saying it will get there. Our politics is maturing. The conduct of the election on Saturday, we feel it's better. INEC has learned some lessons. We're going to improve and get better. That I think we'll get to.
Looking at 2015 general elections, if it took so much from the federal government, talking about the military presence, to conduct a state election, what do you see happening in 2015, where we have over 700 local governments and 36 states in the country?
Thank you. 2015 elections. In answering your question, we must also remember the last elections, the 2011 elections. People commended it. Now, prior to that election, there are those who said it's not possible for an incumbent president to contest and the conduct of that poll would be very free and fair. People doubted it. But to a very good extent, we concluded that the 2011 elections were far better than the 2007 election. And so if in 2011 we had the general elections and the military were posted ground, I think INEC would have to make do with what they have. If you have maybe this large number of officers to post to a state now, and you don't have that luxury of the number in 2015 election, you'd have to like micromanage it. We have done that before, and I do not think it would be really a serious problem.
Let me relate these novel aspects of our politics into what is going on in Edo State, for instance. We're having the Edo House leadership, in fact, which we talked about. Before we go on, let's take this telephone call from Iwo in Oyo State. Good morning.
Testimony.
Hello, testimony. Hello. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to
Good
you.
morning, sir.
Yes.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. Go ahead.
Hello, good morning.
We can hear
Good
you.
morning. Yeah, I really enjoy your program in Osun State. I want to comment on the issue of the election. Hello?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
What is really happening in Southwest politics now is that people white have been, they are whiter than before. And when people want change, they will do everything. They will do everything that is change. And era of black votes in Southwest has gone. People want a person that is closer to them. That during dry season is there for them, during rainy season is there for them. And people are working really against propaganda this time around.
Are you still there, testimony? We want to thank you very much for calling. Please keep calling us if we're experiencing a bit of a freaky, I think it's a network.
Yes,
it's a network.
it should be.
A freaky situation, but please don't be deterred. Call the number, and I'm sure we will be able to, this thing sorts itself out somehow. It goes, it comes, but please, don't be deterred. Keep calling and make your opinions known to us. Also on our
Facebook page, and that is facebook.com/Courts TV News. You can keep sending your comments there, and of course we'll take them later. Testimony was talking about the electorate, and power they say belong to the people.
Sure.
It says the people are wiser. Sure. And in analyzing our 15 years of uninterrupted democracy in Nigeria, many people have diverse opinions about this. But do you feel that Nigerians are ready for the kind of democracy we crave for and we describe?
Do I think Nigerians are ready for the type of democracy we want to see?
Yes.
Because when you get it right in your politics and governance, you get it right with your nation.
Indeed.
Whatever things you want as a people, you get. Power has been a problem all these years. We voted for president of a particular party. We are yet to get that solved. But one thing we must note, for every elections we've had, especially at the presidential level, people have been, juxtaposing the candidates between this and this one. So we've been picking like from maybe one of two evils. Like, let me just use that language. We've not had I would not say, frankly, that we've had the best of our materials coming forth on the leadership stage. And so we've just perhaps been stumbling. For instance, the massive support President Jonathan got for 2011, the goodwill, massive goodwill that followed him, at a point in his administration, it was virtually blown off based on, the fuel issue, the price, the increase in fuel price and all. Corruption, people feel, has not been tackled well enough. And it's also said people deserve the type of leaders that they get.
They have.
If we've not gotten it right as a country till date, one factor I would say is we've been picking leaders from the options available to us. And I would not say those options have been the best we can get.
What would you suggest? Who would you put on the line? If you were to put a name to your suggestion as to the credibility of sort of leaders that this nation truly deserves, can you name names?
I should name names.
Name names.
It's sad that this person is dead, but the person represented the type of quality Nigerian, very patriotic person that our country really needs more of. And I talk of the late Professor Dora Akunyili. Yeah, the NAFDAC, former NAFDAC DG, and former Minister of Information and Communication in our country. She was so patriotic, passionate about this country, even at the risk of her own life. And she represents such type of person I would put forward, that these are the type of people. When someone like Governor Fashola has demonstrated, he's blown our minds. I'm not sure that all Lagosians, before Governor Fashola came in, they really looked into the future and saw, oh, this man would be able to get all of this done. He's impressed us. He's the type of leaders Nigeria should be pushing forward. It's sad, maybe the political space may not allow such type
or accommodate
of people,
him yet.
but he has shown the example, he has shown the character, he's shown the brilliance and the capacity. And for instance, there are people who feel, oh, APC, there is a major big leader there who controls things, who influences things, unlike maybe the PDP, where they say everybody, a son of a shoemaker can become a big office holder. People feel the APC, there's a strong man there, it's Tinubu there, for instance, who people talk against. But that structure produced someone like Governor Fashola. And he's impressed, he's blown our minds. Indeed. If there are people straight away I would want to push forward, Governor Fashola is. He has the intellect, he has a broad mind, he can envision, he has the character too. He's wise.
With these people you've mentioned, we know Chora Akunyili first as a professional, a pharmacist at that, a professor, and we know Fashola well to be a barrister. Actually, exactly.
A senior advocate
of Nigeria, SAN. And recently, we've had phrases like, I'm a professional in politics, not a politician, a professional politician. Now, in the ongoing national conference, there's been a push for part-time legislature, where people have what they do. They practice their profession, unlike just being full-time. Is that what you feel we need as a nation, as a right step in the right direction?
A capital yes for that. Sure. Yeah.
Would you?
Sure. I support it. Makes sense. Especially when you consider the experiences we've had with our National Assembly since 1999. There's been so many terrible stories coming from there. It's not that they are not patriotic people in the National Assembly, but when you consider so many things, they've not really performed well to the level Nigerians would want. If the executive arm of government, for instance, is not performing so well, the legislative arm has the power to put them strongly in check, to call them to order. But it's like we've not had that. So if you're a professional, you have what you're doing, and you also like see governance as an opportunity to serve your people, you can do that on part-time. I certainly believe it's sensible. It helps us to go that route.
Indeed.
I think so.
If our political space will allow the likes of the old Chief David Dafinone to come back. I'm not saying he's going to come back. I mean, in his 80s or 80s plus now. And the chief Odebi, who said, I don't see why we cannot be part-time in our legislative assemblies, because these people have their businesses and they always return to their businesses, as it were. In fact, David Dafinone did not get paid because all of his allowances and everything went to his constituency when he was a senator. And Chief Odebi, why do you want to pay me? The people need the money more than I do. My business, they pay so. So this kind of thinking is what you think Nigerians will love to have.
Very much so.
Indeed.
Thank
I want
you
to say
very
big
much.
thank you for coming.
Mr. Femi KOLAWOLE, a multi-award-winning journalist and writer. And if there is anything that has brought us to review the electioneering process in Nigeria and democracy in our beloved country, it is the sportsmanship spirit of the incumbent governor of Ekiti State, and that is Kayode FEMI, for congratulating the governor-elect in the Saturday poll in Ekiti State, that is Ayo Fayose. And we know that if every politician can have this kind of spirit, politics would definitely be a better place to be for everybody, where it allows everyone, because it will no longer be called a dirty game. And this is how we call it a wrap on this morning's edition of Core Digest. Of course, it continues tomorrow, being Wednesday, and it will definitely be better than this, because it only gets better. On behalf of Sheyi Martins,
good day, and have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Core TV News, expanding your view.